So, please keep enjoying eating and conversation, but I just wanted to come up and say we are so grateful. We've had a couple of large donations come in so far this evening, one for $5,000 and one for $1,000. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, the information to donate and to engage with Bottom Line are on your table. But we have just a couple tables left to get dinner, and then we will be moving into the Fireside chat shortly. But thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello. That was a very quick transition, right? Yeah. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Tiara Diaz. I am the Success Program Director here in Bottom Line Chicago. How are you all doing? Yeah. I hope that you all are having a really lovely evening with delicious food, great company, and I hope that you all are enjoying this air conditioning because today was really a nightmare. You know, weather is really bad when there are sirens happening all around you, right? So I have the pleasure today of introducing our Fireside chat. This is my favorite component of this event. Not that it hasn't been excellent already. I just want to recognize that this is a really big space, and this is an opportunity for us to get a little bit closer together and really get to know some of our guests here today on a personal level. So in a moment, I am going to bring our speakers to the stage. We have Natasha and Maya joining us for our Fireside chat this evening. Natasha is a Chicago Regional Advisory Board member and partner at PwC, and we also have Maya Banks joining us, who is a Bottom Line alum and 2020 grad of Dominican University. Maya actually began her career as an intern at PwC, and now she serves as an indirect tax associate. So please pull up a seat and give a warm welcome to Maya and Natasha.
Please, everyone, don't stop eating. There's desserts on the table. You can help yourself, and we will hopefully entertain you a little bit as you enjoy your desserts. All right, so Maya, you ready to kick off this Fireside chat?
Yes, I am. Super excited.
Okay, is her mic on?
Can you?
It is
Check.
now. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm super excited to be sharing the stage with Maya tonight. You heard in the intro, and this is honestly what John Van Gorp, what he started with, and what we're all as board members here to do, and hopefully all of you, which is invest in our future. And so Maya is a Bottom Line alum. We did bring her in as an intern at PwC, and she is now one of our employees, and as John mentioned, employee at will. So I'm not canceling the contract, it's up to her. But I'm super excited to be here with her tonight because this is what it's all about. So the Chicago chapter, as John mentioned, is the third of the 3 Bottom Line chapters, and so we are the youngest, and so we have not that many alums yet, but we're working there. So we had over 150 grads this year, and we have just like 481, a very exact number, 481 alum who have graduated and out there working. And so Maya is one of those. So Maya, let's get started tonight. We want to hear a little bit about you. We want to hear about who you were at the time you joined Bottom Line. So bring us back to that young Maya, because you're so old now.
Right.
How did you find Bottom Line, and what drew you to the organization?
Yeah, for sure. So I first heard about Bottom Line through another non-for-profit organization called Big Shoulders. And so that organization was helping me through elementary school, and I heard about Bottom Line. I was like in my senior year of high school. And so I'm at this Big Shoulders workshop, right? And for a little background, I'm very plan-oriented. I like to have all my bases covered, right? A, B, C, D, plus a backup plan. And so I'm like getting prepared for college, right? And trying to get any and every resource available to me and take advantage of it. And so I'm at this Big Shoulders workshop. Bottom Line is there, and they're putting on a presentation. And the first thing that stuck out to me was one of my target colleges on their list, which was Dominican University. And so I'm like, well, I qualify for this, right? So then let me, listen some more and see what really it's about and what I can do and, how it can help me. And so I'm paying attention to the presentation, and then I hear, right, I'll have a mentor. So I'm like, well, that'll be great. I'll have a support system, right, and someone else to kind of help build my foundation as I'm going to college. And so that was one thing that stuck out to me. And then I also realized that I would not only have help throughout college, right, in my 4 years of going to college, but also that preparation getting to college. And so obviously I was in my senior year, right at the tail end of my senior year. And so my Bottom Line mentors, Belinda, Hannah, they all really supported me, helped me fill out my FAFSA application. And so that was really the crux of me getting that introduction to Bottom Line.
So you mentioned the advisors, and one of our board members, Hale, I know he's here somewhere, but I can't see with the bright lights. But Hale had said there he is, I see. Hale had said at one point, the advisors are like the secret sauce of Bottom Line. So I know we've talked a little bit tonight about how we have students that, low income, first gen, trying to navigate their way. They don't necessarily have the support system at home to help them get through each day on campus, right? And so those advisors, if there's question about a class that you maybe need to drop, maybe need to consider, what career should you pursue, financial aid, like all the questions that could come out, these advisors are there for you, and they truly are the secret sauce. And so they focus on not just trying to help our students get a degree, but on employability, affordability, and just like life skills. So what I think would be helpful for this group to hear is if you could share a story about your experiences with our amazing advisors at Bottom Line, how it impacted you, and what advice you have for current students.
Okay. So I think that I'll speak to employability and life, right? That was two of the big sectors for me. And so I think back to the time that I'm actually preparing for my interview for PwC, my first START internship. So I'm meeting with Belinda, and we're in the Cyber Cafe at Dominican, and we're literally doing a mock interview. I think my interview was maybe a day or two, ahead of time. It's really last minute because of my part. And so Belinda's like, hey, well, we need to get a mock interview going, right, and get you prepared. And so we're going through the interview, doing the interview questions, and she asked me, what's your strengths and weaknesses? And, that's a common question for interviews, right? And so I'm going back and forth, and I'm going in on the weaknesses, right? I can't do this, and I'm not really strong in this area. I say maybe one or two strengths. And so she stops me, and she's like, well, Maya, you really have told me everything that you're not good at, and you haven't really spoken too much on your strengths, right? And she asked me, why'd you do that? And for me, it was not wanting to come off too confident, right, and brag about myself and kind of send the wrong message. And so she made it clear, you can't sell yourself short, right? You're not doing anyone a favor by not mentioning your accomplishments, by not being proud of your accomplishments. And so we kind of redid all the questions, and I went back through, and I really thought about the things that are important to me and the things that I accomplished and that I'm proud of. And so I really take a couple things from that. Number one, don't sell yourself short, right? You have so much value. You bring a lot to the table. So don't, never sell yourself short, and don't think, I guess part two of that is, don't let, talking about your accomplishments, don't let that come off as you bragging or being overly confident, right? Those are good things that you do need to put out there and put into the world. So that's my advice to current bottom line students, bottom line alumni, right? So far as career, life in general, never sell yourself short because you do bring so much to the table.
So this is the question of the night. When you went through your PwC interview, did they ask you about your strengths and weaknesses?
Actually, I don't think that was a question. I don't think it was a question. I don't think it was a question.
But it's good to lay that all out and be prepared. I like it. So you and I have talked a lot about being first-generation college students and graduates, and that is not something that ends with college. So you carry that experience and who you are as a person into your first job. It's part of you. It's always part of you. And so I'm curious to know, how does that part of yourself as a first-gen college student, how has that kind of manifested itself in your career at PwC? I think you've been with us about a year now. So how does that come about as your day-to-day and your job, as you're interacting with your peers, with your supervisors?
I think that I bring that first-gen status to work with me every day, right? I am one of only 3 people of color on my team, right? So then I kind of break it down, right? So far as representation, the people that are in the room. And so I bring that first-gen status with me every day, and I kind of look at it as, hey, this is your motivation, right? You need to push through all the adversity, right? Being the only one in the room, being uncomfortable, feeling that imposter syndrome, right? You need to push through it because there are so many people that are coming after you that you have to lead the path for, right? And so I kind of think of my first-gen status, and I say I want to bring generational wealth to my family and the lineages beyond me. And then I also want to just have that foundation and have that support. And, my family, they did an amazing job supporting me throughout the process. And I just want to be able to kind of bring that to the folks that come after me. So I do bring that first gen with me every day to work, and I'm honestly proud of it.
That was perfect timing, and now I feel like I have the scarlet letter. Coughing on stage. Okay, we're gonna get through it. All right, so you and I today, we happened to run into the hallway together at PwC, and we are hosting 2 externs this week from Bottom Line, 2 new externs, and so Maya introduced herself, she met with them, I separately met with them, and so we're super excited. Question for you, what was your experience? What was the experience like for you to meet those 2 interns this week? You met them yesterday for the first time. Now you're on the other side, you're an alum. How did that feel today?
I mean, it's really, and even looking at the students here today, it's just really full circle to see where I started, right? And then to see where these students are from. I think they're doing an even better job than I was. And really, they're super inquisitive, right? They want to know why it is they're doing what they're doing, right? The purpose, their why. And so that is just another motivating factor, right? I want to be better. I want to be this really strong professional and be able to kind of break down my job, why I do my job, why it's important to me, why I enjoy it. And I see, specifically our externs, they're taking this opportunity to figure out if they like accounting, right? If they like to do taxes, right? And so just seeing them being willing to put themselves out on the line and get a different experience, something that they're not familiar with, it's motivating. It is motivating. So I was happy to meet them. They're really awesome. So any other externs in the room, just keep going. You got this. And even if you don't necessarily like what you're doing, there's more opportunities out there. So keep going.
And if you have your elevator pitch ready, Maya's ready to hear it. So. All right, so the theme of tonight is Rise Up. What does Rise Up mean to you?
So it was a couple different ways I was thinking about answering this question, and I really just brought it down to two things, or two like sectors, I guess, that it embodies. And so, number one, when I think of rise up, I think of speaking up, right? Standing up for what's important to you, kind of speaking up in uncomfortable situations, and especially in today's climate, right? It's important to speak up against racism, against homophobia, transphobia, right? And put yourself in that uncomfortable situation. And so to kind of rise up is to work through what makes you uncomfortable, but do the right thing at the end of the day. So that's like that kind of first factor of it. And then the second part is my mom. So she's a 2-time cancer survivor, breast cancer and then pancreatic cancer. And I kind of look at everything she was able to do for our family, right? She's the matriarch of our family, and everyone depends on her. They come to her for advice, right? In addition to taking care of a family. She worked while she had breast cancer, going through radiation, going through chemo. And so really she's just motivated me, and I kind of look at her and think of rise up, right? To kind of work through the things that are holding you back or the things that make you uncomfortable physically. You can't move, right? To work through that because there's something greater on the line. So that's those two items definitely embody rise up to me. Love you.
Yeah. Way to go, Mom.
Well, it's been fun talking to you and sharing my story. So I'm interested in hearing about your experience as a champion for Bottom Line and your why, right? So what drew you to Bottom Line and what kind of keeps you coming back and supporting the organization?
Yeah. So Maya and I, of course, went through these questions beforehand, but she knows this, something happened today, and so I'm going to change my answer on my why, and I'll share with you what happened today. But at the end, like more broadly, I am a Bottom Line student. Bottom Line did not exist when I was in high school, when I was in college, but I am a first-gen college graduate, and it would have been amazing for me to have the mentorship and the support of an organization like Bottom Line. I had no clue what a FAFSA form was. I did my best to fill it out. I did my own tax return. I just followed the instructions. I tried my best. But it was very confusing. It was hard to navigate. And so the fact that there's an organization that is helping students at that point in their lives just navigate all the things that come with just trying to get in, graduate, and then get a job is just my story. So it touches me personally, so I'm aligned with the mission. But what keeps me, which is more important, like the why, like why do you still do this? So today, I saw Maya in the hallway, and I was going in to meet these two externs that we're hosting this week. And so I know there are other organizations and companies here that host externs, and I have a team that hosts them. Like, I'm not there sitting with them all day long. But I had said, I'll take them out to lunch. And so Maya kindly declined my lunch offer. I caught her off guard, and I said, oh no, I'm gonna have to take the interns by myself. Like, I just assumed that everybody was coming with me. I didn't know they were thought oh no, she just wants to go by herself with the interns. But at my age, nobody really talks to me. And so it's really hard to have lunch conversation. So anyway, my assistant, I didn't choose the restaurant. I had never been there. I was like, okay, it's a couple blocks down the road. I know where it is, we'll go. We get there, we get situated. First of all, it was lovely, in terms of the ambiance. It was beautiful, it was on the Chicago River, it was on the backside of the building, but it was outside, it was over 100 degrees, so it was like a sauna. People were sweating at the tables next to us, and the smell of the river was not so great. So that was that. But then it was a pretty fancy restaurant, and they had pretty fancy menus, and one of the students said, oh, I've never seen a menu like this. And I was like, oh yeah, it is pretty nice. And I just kind of let it go. And then I opened the menu, and I thought, oh gosh, I don't think they're gonna know what these things are. And again, it was my first time there. And so they opened it up and they just looked. And I said, have you guys ever had oysters? And they're like, no. I go, do you like seafood? And they're like, no. I was like, this is going to be a problem. And so I'm like, keep looking. I'm looking through. I go, they have a burger on the menu, but it was like a really fancy burger with all this stuff on it. And they looked at it, and I said, is there anything on this menu that looks good to you? And they just looked at me. They didn't even respond because, they don't talk to me anyway. I was like, and I said, you know what? We're going to go. We're going to go. And in that moment, and I told her, and I remember I had, like 15 years after I'd been with the firm, I had a conversation with somebody that I worked with early days, a partner, and he referred to me in my early days as rough around the edges. And I had never been to a restaurant like that before at that age. I looked at these two young women and I was like, they are so uncomfortable. They do not know what is on this menu. We need to go. So we just got up and we left. I said to the hostess, thank you so much. We're gonna need to leave. I didn't explain. I said, ladies, it's totally fine. We went to this other place. We all got burgers and fries. They devoured it, which is why I did not eat that much dinner because I have not had that much food for lunch. But they were chatty, and that was the right thing to do in the moment. And so the why is like, because I know what it's like. And I know that there are all of these people in this room, people like me, that are here to make a difference and set the stage for the next generation. And we just have to invest time. That's all. Like, it's been a long time since somebody has called me rough around the edges. But it did happen to me. And so it just takes a little bit of investment, and that's all. So that is my why. That's why I truly am committed to this organization.
So I guess tailing off of that, and I guess I really thought about your comment, investing the time, right? So thinking about that and thinking about like my advisors, right, and the folks that empowered me and cheered me on and kept me going, who were some of your mentors during your time in college, and what did their mentorship mean to you?
Yeah, so in college, it was kind of rough. Like I said, we didn't have bottom line. I had my grandmother, who had a 9th grade education, but all she knew is she told me, she's like, Miha, you are so smart, like you just need to go to school and graduate. And she was there every night. She made me dinner, always in the microwave. When I got home, there was always a plate in the microwave waiting for me. So it didn't matter what. My husband's sitting over here. We have been together since we were 15 and 17, and we did not go to the same college, but throughout that we have been together, and he has been a tremendous support. His family as well. I had parents of friends. But what I would say is, like, at that time for me, there were other people that saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. And that's what I tell people today. And that's what I will tell you as well. There are people, even at PwC at work, around you that will see things in you that you just don't see in yourself, and they see the potential, and you just have to open up yourself and trust a little bit, and you'll get through. But I would say, pieces of a lot of people in college. And then once I started my career, I had some more formalized mentor relationships, which was great. But in college, I was kind of like just trying to figure things out.
Gotcha. So then, thinking about that, I guess, what's some advice you have for bottom line students, who are first generation from low income backgrounds and students of color, and, as they explore their possible career paths, right? What would you like say to them to kind of guide them? And also, why is it important for companies like PwC to support organizations like Bottom Line?
All right. So for the students in the room, what I would say is relationships are key. And it's hard when you're not used to building relationships with strangers to figure that out, but you start with simple things. Like, I would just talk about my grandma. So you just talk about things that you feel comfortable talking about, but it is important to open up yourself as you start a new job, to get to know someone else, to figure out what the similarities are so you can start to form a relationship, because like, I didn't know, like, all the political nuances within the organization. But as I made friends, as I talked to people, they would share with me, like, oh, did you know this? Or you're supposed to be doing this, or you need to do this. And I was like, oh, I need to do that. Okay, well, I wouldn't know. So one, I would say for me, it wasn't easy for me to open up and, like, just trust people. But it is important to build relationships, to start to develop a trusting relationship. And then you will learn little pieces and nuggets, and that will help you be successful. And then the second part of your question was, why does PwC stay so focused on this? And I think every person in here and every organization that's represented in this room feels this way as well. But we feel a commitment that we need to invest in our communities. We need to invest in the next generation. It is important. We need our employees to look like our clients' customers, not necessarily our client, our clients' customers, so that we can bring diverse perspectives, so we can bring a broad range of ideas to our clients, so that we can provide value, because at the end of the day, our clients are trying to provide value to their customers, not to each other. And so we are fully committed. Of course, it's the right thing to do, but there are other reasons why we're firmly committed as an organization as well.
Absolutely. So now I guess my last question to you
Yes.
is the Rise Up question, right? The theme of tonight is Rise Up. So what does Rise Up mean to you?
So when I was your age, I would say I would probably have had a similar response. But now I do realize that, well, for me, it's important for me to invest. So I don't rise unless I help others rise up. So for me, I feel like my commitment, my investment in others to help others be successful in whatever they want to be successful in. Like, it doesn't have to be where I work, but whatever they want to be successful. So for me, rising up is helping others rise up. If they're successful, I'm successful. And that's kind of where I am today. And I know tonight, like, it's been defined in so many different ways, and we realize how personal the answer is. Like, what does it mean to you? And so I would challenge everybody in the room, what does Rise Up mean to you? You don't have to share it with me right now, but you can, write it in your journal tonight.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you have more questions?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, all right. So we are going to transition. We have two young women off to the left here coming up.
Ooh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh, nice.
Wow. No, again, thank you. Thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you so much, Maya, for sharing your perspective, your experience with us this evening. I know I'm a little bit in my feelings. How are all of you? We really appreciate you being here tonight and sharing this conversation with the rest of us. So thank you so much. Yes. Thank you. So a lot of what these two women shared today resonated with me. I'm sure some of it resonated a lot with you. One thing in particular that Maya shared that really struck me was this idea of carrying being a first-generation student with you every single day. And the reality is that each of us has identities or a previous experience that has really shaped how we navigate this world, right? And for some of us, that shows up as imposter syndrome, right? And what it does is causes us to doubt ourselves and minimize the accomplishments that we have, which is why it is so important to seek mentorship, coaches, bottom line advisors who can be there in our corner, encouraging us to see ourselves a little bit more clearly, to kind of drown out the noise from the outside and really being able to focus on the potential that we have within. It's only then that we can really rise up. See what I did there? Huh? Thanks for my table, yes. Natasha mentioned this, but I'm really proud of the growing externship program that we have at Bottom Line that connects young students to their first professional experience. So to transition us into this next section of the event, I have a few students that I would like to introduce to this stage. So we do have some students who are currently externing at Allstate, who's showing up deep in the front, who will be joining us. I think we need some louder applause because for those of you who don't know, today is their first day. It is their first day. Have any of us had a first day at a job where you worked and then you went to a gala with 200 people and then you got on stage and you said some words? Yeah, it's a big deal. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Christine, as well as Eileen, Lexi, and Crystal to the stage. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christine Jacinto, and here on stage I have with me Lexi, Crystal, and Eileen. I'm a Bottom Line Success student attending DePaul University, and I'm excited to share that I'm a part of Bottom Line's externship program at Allstate. In fact, today was our first day where we had our orientation, talked with our mentor one-on-one about career exploration, and learned about project-based work by job shadowing. This externship program is something I'm very delighted to be a part of because it will allow me the opportunity to learn about different career paths, how to build networks, and collaborate with others. I'm looking forward to this while working with everyone at Allstate. The partnership between Bottom Line and Allstate is truly something to celebrate. Allstate sent a swag to welcome us, and Eric even sent a personal message to welcome us and introduce himself on Friday. At this time, I'd like to call up an amazing member of Bottom Line's board, Eric Brandt, Executive Vice President and Chief of Claims Officer at Allstate, to recognize him and the entire team at Allstate as Bottom Line's 2022 Corporate Honoree. He will say a few words after the awards presentation. Thank you, Eric.
My people, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. Let's have a round of applause for these young ladies investing in themselves and their future, and all of the students. I'm so proud of you. So on behalf of 80,000 Allstaters, employees, and our agents from around the country, I'm honored to accept this recognition on behalf of Allstate. So thank you so much. Can I actually hold this? Okay. Like Will, I don't want to be trusted with this, so thank you. This is an honor. So what I thought I would do is just take a moment to share my experience with these lovely students, just telling a brief story, and then I'll introduce the Allstate Foundation, our commitment to youth empowerment, and also what resonates with us and our relationship with Bottom Line. First, the story. So as I was speaking with our externs today, and I work with early career professionals, I get all manner of questions that are kind of around the same area. And it's tell me about what you do and how exactly did you get to have this position? And they're all really asking around the same thing, which is how do I see myself and my progression, through these various lenses? And how does this whole thing work? How does this future of mine kind of play out? So it's not about me. It's really about them kind of finding themselves. So I don't necessarily answer that question about the magical world of insurance that I've lived in for 31 years. What I share is some of the best advice that I've ever received, which is try to align yourself with a profession or an employer or some work that you have a shared value with. And that's the best advice I ever got, because all of this worry about, did I pick the right major, or have I chosen the right first job, or will I regret this? So much of that falls away when your personal mission aligns with the mission of whatever it is you choose to do with your life. So that, I hope, was some modest help for you on your journey. So let's talk a little bit about the foundation and our commitment to youth empowerment and what resonates. So the Allstate Foundation is a not-for-profit brought by Allstate, whose purpose, the why, is to improve the world, and how that happens is through a sharp focus in three main areas. The first, racial equity. The second, combating relationship violence. And the third is a commitment to youth empowerment. We'll talk about youth empowerment in a moment. Now, there are vast resources from the Allstate Foundation, but they go coast to coast across all of our communities. And as an example, the Allstate Foundation has committed $44 million to improving communities throughout calendar year 2021, and we continue to bring that work forward into 22. Allstaters from around the country have donated more than 92,000 hours of their personal time to try to improve the communities in which we live and work. So that's the why and the how and what it is we do with the Allstate Foundation. The second thing we focus on is youth empowerment. Why do we focus on youth empowerment? What is it that we aim to achieve? And it's to help young people to improve their lives and to live their hopes and dreams. And how we do that is by delivering skills and experiences that help them improve their lives and livelihoods. We do that in three main ways. One is by focusing on social and emotional learning, service leadership, and inclusive leadership. These are just three examples of really durable life skills that you can use as you go forward as a young early career professional to help to have success in school, your community, in addition to being able to have just emotional well-being. So these are just some of the ways that we focus on youth empowerment. Lastly, I'll just share, about our relationship with Bottom Line and why I'm inspired. As a people leader, as an operator, I get energy from working with early career professionals. I get energy from working with people and seeing the possibilities up on this stage and thinking about all that you'll achieve and accomplish. That's what I think is an incredible part of what Bottom Line does. And what resonates with me is the go far part of our promise. As I think and hear and listen to the stories of how you launch your career or find who you are and go out into the world and find your own success, that's inspiring. Another inspiration for me is being part of what I call this virtuous circle. And the virtuous circle for me is, I've got choices on where I can work. The reason I work at Allstate is because it's a mission-driven and purpose-driven company that aligns with my values. And Allstate has created this foundation to have an impact on the world and our communities. And lo and behold, we found Bottom Line that has this amazing mission to help these students get in and graduate and go far and create real, sustainable, generational change, of which I've been a benefactor. I am the first in my family to graduate from college, so I've seen this change in my life and my family's life as a result of higher education. And this virtuous circle, you're all in it, and the Bottom Line staff is in it, and guess who's in the middle? The students. So to see all of us come together as a community to help these young people find who they are and successfully launch, I think is a magnificent and wonderful and inspiring story. So I just want to close by saying, let's celebrate these students, let's celebrate the staff and the people that are doing the work to help these young people find who they are and go into the communities and make it a better place. So thank you very much. Thank you, ladies.
As a student, you don't really understand everything that they're telling you, at least from colleges, and you don't really know which direction to go in.
Being an undocumented student really put me at a big disadvantage. Nobody in my family, none of my friends have ever been to college.
I was the first one in my family to go to college. Having to do this from the start, I had to go in blind.
Growing up in backyards, one of a very low income, filled with violence neighborhood in Chicago. Bottom line helped me overcome these challenges because they made me feel like I wasn't alone.
Financial aid in general is it's very confusing from colleges. The biggest thing that I was looking for to be able to get my degree and pay for it and not have huge student loans. My advisor at least laid it all out for me.
I didn't know what the process was, and that's where Bottom Line came in and helping me go through that whole application process, knowing what I can afford, applying for financial aid.
If I was just on my own, I would not only be stuck in student loans, but also would have chosen something that's not putting my best foot forward for the future.
Bottom Line makes it is where I feel like we're all a family, we're all connected.
My advisor, Kelsey, and we connected really well, and it was such a safe space. It felt really good to have my advisor help me write my essay. I knew of what I wanted to write about, but it was hard to get it on paper. She was able to understand me too. She really pushed me, I guess, in a way that made me realize the whole ending of the story.
There was points where I felt like giving up. I did work about 40, 50 hours a week. As a freshman, I was still getting accustomed to having to actually study outside of my classes. So it created a perfect storm for me to fall behind. My access advisor, Grego, was really helpful. We laid out a plan for me to get back on track, and that was one of the reasons why I was able to ultimately get my grades up.
It doesn't stop at the high school career. It's okay, we got you to go to college and that's where it ends. No, the advisors guide you so that you can end successfully and go to a career in the future.
I'm now an alumni of Bottom Line. I am now a current program coordinator at Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital, Chicago.
I have 2 siblings in the Bottom Line program. Being able to set the example, it makes me feel good.
Through my 4 years of college, I had to kind of rise up and mentally tell myself and remind myself constantly that I belong. I just recently graduated Dominican University with my bachelor's in marketing. As an aspiring business owner, the externship that I did for Bottom Line will really help me opening up my own company. Without Bottom Line, I don't think I would be in the same position I am now.
I will be attending University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign in the fall. What excites me most about the future is endless possibilities.
It's important to support organizations like Bottom Line. Bottom Line can definitely help more students out there. Rise up means rising up to the challenge of experiencing college for the first time, graduating. There's many barriers that are constantly there, but we can overcome them. It's rising up to the challenge, being able to face it and keep going.
I'm rising up with Bottom Line.
I'm rising up with Bottom Line.
I'm rising up with Bottom Line.
Wow. I don't think there's any way to really follow that beautiful video. I want to thank so much Eddie, Anik, and Sharon for sharing your personal experiences of being in Bottom Line, being in high school, and all the challenges and opportunities that you have ahead of you and what's ahead of you in college. Our students and the ones that we work with are the heartbeat of our organization, and we are inspired by your perseverance and your unwavering commitments to yourselves and to your dreams. I want to take a moment to just call everyone's attention to the essay book that was on your seat at your table. This is a wonderful, you can take it with you, it's yours, and it should be a constant reminder of the many unique ways that our students are rising up. In the book, you'll find stories of wisdom, challenges, and joy from students across all our 3 regions in Chicago, Boston, and New York City. Among the stories featured are some of our very own Chicago students. Ara poetically shares about her identity to the admissions committee through the lens of her favorite Filipino desert. Armando talks about learning and leaning into the strength of the women in his life to successfully navigate to where where he's at now, and Priscilla, who courageously shared how she fought her shyness to be able to blossom in high school. Please join me in thanking and recognizing our students. I know we're a couple minutes over, and I appreciate everyone staying for the full part of this program. I did want to just call out again, if you pull up your menu in front of you, there is the lovely little QR code at the bottom. I just recently had to remember how to do this, but if you just open your camera on your phone and hold it over the little code, it'll bring up a link, and you can just touch it, and then it will take you to a website where you can learn more about Bottom Line, read more stories about our incredible students, and donate to the organization. I want to call out specifically what your donations tonight can do in terms of having an impact and providing life-changing and transformative outcomes. A $10,000 gift can provide students with access to year-round career programs, and this is exactly what Eric and the Allstate team were just talking about, and the incredible externs that are working with them right now. Students have the opportunity to work with our employer partners, participate in internships and externships, and really have that experiential educational piece about what it means to learn and experience things for yourself, to realize, to try it on. Is this something that I'm passionate about, or is this something I'm not passionate about? I just share quickly, I've chatted with a couple students tonight, both of whom have shared job experiences that they did not like, and I just affirmed to them that that is such an important part of what experiential education is about, is figuring out what it is that you don't like so that you know to try something else and to keep looking for the things that really are your calling. A $5,000 gift can provide one student with an advisor from college through career. So this is one-on-one support for up to 7 years. Again, working with students while they're in high school, planning for college, and making that important transition right now, we're upon it, summer, between when high school is over and college begins. A $2,500 gift can support 2 high school students with their college applications. While many advances in technologies have happened since I was applying to college, and things like the Common App and such things like that have made things more efficient, there's unfortunately still many fees associated with applying to colleges, and one of the things that we work really closely with our students on is applying to a lot of different schools and really considering a lot of different options. And so to be able to have the financial means to support students in doing that is really, really important. A $1,000 gift can provide last dollar funding to earn a college diploma. And we use the term last dollar to mean these are the costs that come up for every student in college that many financial aid packages and scholarships just don't cover. This includes paying off a parking ticket or maybe a fee for something that you may have forgotten to return, things that can just hairy little things that get in the way of people being able to complete college. And we are proud that our budget each year includes resources to be able to provide those kinds of supports to students to ensure those little things like that don't stand in the way from a student crossing graduation stage. $500 can cover textbooks for the cost of one semester. Again, I'm aging myself or dating myself here a little bit, but I've heard that textbooks like the physical ones aren't super popular anymore. You can download PDFs on your iPads or your phones or things like that. The students are all laughing like you're still outdated. But the cost of those PDF files are still quite costly, and so being able to provide the funding and to be able to provide that with our students is really, really important. A $250 gift can support the purchase of a laptop for a student, and we know just how important, especially over the past couple of years, how important it is to have up-to-date working technology for students to be able to participate actively in their education. And then a $100 gift can ensure that 5 college students receive care packages. I tease my mom about it now because she still is really into snail mail, but you better believe how much I appreciated receiving packages of even just whether it was cookies or cards or little things like that. To be able to get a little ticket at the mail hut that said you had received a package was super exciting to me, and part of the experience and part of that relationship that we have with students while they're in college and in our success program is being able to continue to provide those kinds of enlightening and fun experiences for them. And so $100 can ensure that we are able to do care packages for 5 college students. I've been told at this point we've received just over 30 individual pledges and donations tonight, and I want to thank you all for stepping up and doing that, for seeing the potential in all of the students who have courageously shared their stories tonight, and for all of our incredible sponsors who believe deeply in the work that we do and the potential of our students, and are so committed and so generous in their resources. As we close and give everyone just a few more minutes to open up the app on their phone and think about making a donation, I want to make a couple of additional important thank yous. I want to start by thanking, again, our incredible bottom line staff, but in particular, I want to recognize Monica Grant Cohen. Monica, can you please stand up? I'm going to embarrass you. Monica is an incredibly selfless leader, which is why she's incredibly embarrassed right now. But it is your vision and your attention to details that made tonight possible. I am so grateful for the many, I did not like that you had to do this, but I am grateful for the many late nights and early mornings you've spent the past several months to ensure tonight was a smashing success for our students and to ensure that our return to an in-person celebration together was one we would all remember and one that would inspire us all. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Monica. We really appreciate it. I also want to take a moment and thank our incredible team and vendors, Emmanuel and the Eskandar Group. Again, many late nights, many early mornings, paying attention to all of the details to ensure that tonight was incredible. Black Oak Tech, for your incredible AV support. This venue, the Garrity, and all the staff who've been working all afternoon. We had our national board meeting here, so I've been here all afternoon, and I watched the staff pay attention again to every detail, preparing all of the meals and setting all the tables up. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all your hard work today. J&L Catering for the amazing and delicious food, Kehoe Designs for the decor, Yakety Yak, who produced both of the videos that you saw tonight, and Jasco Amavrik Photography, I apologize for the name, for the incredible photography that you're taking and capturing tonight. And again, and just in closing, I want to thank you all for braving the heat, coming out, making your way to the beautiful Pilsen community and here at the Garrity to celebrate Bottom Line's mission, to celebrate our success, or the success of our students, and again, a call to action for us all to come together to support the next generation. Thanks again and have a great night.